Hey guys, welcome back to the Zilinski life. I'm Cody, this is Val, and we have been documenting our journey towards debt freedom and financial independence for a little bit of time now, a couple of years at the very least. And we've kind of wanted to start helping other people get their finances in order as well. So we've started a First Budget Friday series. This, I believe, is the fourth video? Fifth?
Something like that. We've done a few of these. There's a playlist if you want to go back and watch them all. I'll link it down below.
Yeah, so today we want to talk about when to invest. And there's different schools of thought on this. The more traditional personal finance mentality around it is stop investing altogether until your emergency fund is fully funded and you're out of debt. For us, that just hasn't been working. And as we discussed in a previous video, we've made more headway personally by saving and investing while paying off debt than we ever did by just trying to hammer debt.
Yes.
Completely counterintuitive, but that's the way it's turned out. So I'm sure you guys have all heard the saying that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago and the second best time is today. Same goes for investing. The best time to start putting your money into the market was years and years and years ago. The second best time is now.
Yeah.
Whether that's $1 or $1,000 or whatever you have. Most platforms, I believe, have a minimum that they'll let you invest. You can't just sign up and buy $1 of something. To the best of my knowledge, you may have to make a savings goal or have a separate account where that money builds up over time until you can run it through the platform to start investing. But I think one of the big misconceptions is what even is investing? When people say, you got to invest your money if you want to get ahead, what do they mean? Depending on who you're talking to, most people tend to think of investing as buying and selling stocks. So you've got to do a bunch of research into different companies and what they're doing and read the graphs galore and figure out what's going to go up, what's going to go down, when, and by how much. And it's a huge fiasco. Case in point, they've done a lot of studies that trying to time the market like that, buy low, sell high, basically doesn't work. There's a few instances of people who have just gotten completely lucky and hit it off by accident. You just happen to invest in Google or Microsoft in the 80s and now you're sitting on a private island somewhere. The likelihood of that happening again is very, very slim. And if you're banking on that as like your retirement plan, you're gonna be in trouble. So typically when people think of investing, what they generally want to do is the boring stuff. You're not buying and selling stocks, you're not making trades all the time, you're consistently investing into, there's a bunch, I believe there's EFTs,
Index funds,
mutual funds, things like that. And there's various platforms that'll help you do that. Most banks have financial experts and investors and stuff that they can walk you through that and help you make whatever decisions you need to.
They're basically already balanced portfolios consisting of some stocks, some, gold and silver, different global and local equities in the country that you live in, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so you'll typically go in and talk to someone and say, depending how old you are is kind of what your risk tolerance would be, how much upside versus how much downside. When you're younger, you can handle a little more volatility of the prices going up and down. As you get older, you're going to want a little more stability because you don't want to risk retiring at 65 and then everything takes a plunge and your income isn't what you need to survive anymore. But they have experts that can help you sort all that out. The only thing you really want to be cognizant of is the fees, because it's not a service they offer for free. The people managing it are getting paid. The bank is going to want to get paid. It's kind of the way the economy works. There's nothing wrong with it. It is what it is. People should be paid for their expertise. But depending on how you're doing it, if you're doing lots of trades, there's going to be lots of fees because you have to pay every time you buy or sell.
Yes.
And depending on how they get paid, whether it's a flat rate or a certain percentage, it may not seem like much up front, but it could add up to potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in fees over the course of your lifetime, which, don't get me wrong, you're still seeing good growth on your money and you're still making a lot off of it. But it's also not going to be what it could be if you don't shop around for fees.
Yeah.
And other than that, to touch back on the concept of timing the market, buying and selling, time in the market is far, far more important than timing the market. They've done a bunch of studies, and we'll try find them and link them down below. But basically what the study determined is that if you were timing the market and you got it wrong just 10 times throughout a year, not a catastrophic amount, you just sold at the high before it peaked, bought at the low before it hit its absolute valley. Just tiny little minute errors like that will see hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars of difference over the course of a person's lifetime. Whereas if you had just kept consistently investing in the market into something like an index fund or whatever, which is basically a collection of stocks that are considered to be the stock market, like whatever the stock market's doing is what this collection of stocks will do. And the stock market goes up over time, day to day, month to month, week to week. It will fluctuate. Over time, it's going to go upwards by a significant predictable amount. I think for the last 90 years, it's been going up like 13% pretty predictably on average.
12% or something.
That's something like that. Like it's been good returns. Now, year over year, sometimes it's down really low, sometimes it's up exceptionally high, but over the last 90 years, it has predictably gone up by a consistent amount. So if you had just been investing over that time, however much money every month, consistently buying and selling, what ends up happening is when the stock market is up, you end up buying less of the stocks because they cost more for your amount of money. When the stocks go down, you're putting in the same amount of money, but you get more stocks. So that when the prices go up again, you have more money than you otherwise would because you bought a larger number for a lower price, and then they all increased in value. So just doing that will be far superior to timing the market unless you are 100% perfect 100% of the time.
Which you are not.
Which you're not. It's a huge gamble. Even the professionals, every now and then, they have a string of good luck. But I think most of the big investment houses, if you look at their track record, it's a survivorship bias. They'll buy, a few hundred stocks to invest in, but only tell you about the ones that they picked right, as though those 10 were the only ones they picked, when in reality they picked like 100, and only 10% of them did not let them down. But they don't tell you about that other 90% that made nothing or no longer even exist.
Well, why would they? Because then you wouldn't want to give them your money.
Yeah, because then you'd look at them and say, well, shit, I can do that.
Yeah. So Cody's written a really good blog post on this with a lot more information, a lot more detail, which we'll link down below on our website. And there's a book that will teach you to be rich.
Most of my mindset and information came from the book I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. Fantastic book. I honestly wish I read the second edition, the 10-year anniversary. I wish I would have read it when it first came out, because this book completely revolutionized my understanding or our understanding of personal finance and how to actually get ahead. A lot of what he says is very similar to the traditional method you may be aware of. If you've been in the personal finance sphere at all, I'm sure you've heard of Dave Ramsey and his methodology. He's been doing this for an incredibly long time, and he's helped a lot of people not only get out of debt, but become millionaires just through his advice and his mindset around it. Ramit's done kind of the same thing. And as far as I can tell, in kind of a more sustainable, realistic, relevant to our situation sort of way. And he just explains the basic stuff that we should know, but don't want to ask so we don't seem dumb, and don't really know who to ask because nobody knows, because nobody wants to ask because they don't want to seem dumb. So we'll put a link to that down below.
I do recommend reading it.
Fantastic book. If there's only one thing you could possibly do to change your financial situation, it would be reading that book and implementing the things he talks about. But step one is reading the book. Well, I think that's it, guys. So thanks for sticking around for this. I hope you found it useful, beneficial, if there's any kind of value in there, whatever, hit that like button. Let us know down in the comments. Make sure you are subscribed for more fantastic content like this and these beautiful faces. At some point in the not too distant future, there may be a tiny little cabbage roll doing these video with us.
Yes, I'm very pregnant right now.
Yes. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you sign up for notifications. Turn those all the way on. Make sure that bell is rung. If you have an actual bell, ring that one. And in the meantime, we'll catch you on the next one. So thanks for hanging out with us. We love you guys very much. And is it payday yet? Bye.